Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing you a much easier way to refinish some reclaimed furniture. Stay with us. So there was a great product out there that a lot of people caught on to, and that is gel stain. Gel stain is different from a regular stain in that obviously it's a gel, but it's intensely pigment rich, which means you can get away with only putting one coat on your project. And that one coat is going to give you a much better look than maybe 3 coats of a regular stain. And it's going to be less hassle. There's less drying time, there's no sanding time in between coats. You're going to want to put a top coat on this. That is the only extra step that there is in the process. So we are going to show you today how to apply a gel stain to a reclaimed piece of furniture that is already stained in this case. Some may be painted, but this is stained. If you haven't already done so, go down below and hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here on a permanent basis. Also, give the video a thumbs up and a like and share it with your friends on social media if you think it'll help them out. All right, let's get back to staining. You're going to need just a few simple tools for this project. Something to remove the hardware, whether a screwdriver or something else. Brushes, either it be foam or a bristled brush. Some tack cloth. These Scotch-Brite pads, which are amazing. They're really rough, but soft enough that it's not going to really gouge into the wood itself. Some sandpaper, 220 grit is perfect for this. Some mineral spirits. This will be used to clean off any foreign substance on the exterior of your reclaimed piece of furniture that's going to cause the gel stain not to stick. Any waxes, any oils, a lot of oils from people's hands that have been all over this furniture for a long period of time. So we're going to use mineral spirits and we're going to wipe down the entire piece of furniture. Of course, a dry cloth. And then if you do have an electric sander for this project, that's great too. Let's get started on this piece right here because this is the worst of the damage on this piece that we found. This piece looks as though here on the front, as you can see, that it's had some pretty nasty damage, probably some water damage, and we're going to need to kind of sand that out. We're going to look here and see if this has created any staining from this old gross hardware that we're going to get rid of, just not our style. And it doesn't look like it has because the stain on here was dark enough to begin with. If you have a lighter blonde stain, it might have, any water damage might have caused it to bleed or tarnish or whatever you want to call it into the wood itself, but it doesn't look like that's happened. So we're going to give this one a little extra care, more so than a lot of the other piece of the furniture because it does have this staining on here, and we don't want to just cover that up. We want to kind of smooth that out and blend that in before we get started with the gel staining on this piece. Now, we're just going to take our sander here first. And see if we can work this out with this. It looks like we were able to get whatever it was off the front of that drawer with no problem. Just a few passes of our sandpaper. So that is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and we're still going to clean this up with some mineral spirits. I'll use this cloth. I'll grab another one if I need a dry one. We're just going to get those oils, any buildup that is on the surface of that wood, off of it so that our gel stain sticks the best that it possibly can. So here's why gel staining is so much easier than refinishing with another type of product. You do not need to go back down to bare wood on this. You don't need to use a stripper on this. You can leave the old finish on here. All you need to do is have some sort of abrasive implement here, like this Scotch-Brite pad, which actually works really, really well. And you just want to go with the grain and score into the existing finish. What that's going to do is give enough of a rough surface that your gel stain sticks to it. And it's not going to gouge. This Scotch-Brite pad is not going to gouge into the wood at all. It's just going to abrade the surface of the existing finish. So once this is done, and once we have it, so what we're going to do here is take our tack cloth and we're going to remove any dust on here that's going to also inhibit the gel stain from sticking properly. Once we have that done, you're ready to gel stain. That is the only prep that you need to do to these pieces of furniture, this drawer or whatever else that you're doing, kitchen cabinets, so on and so forth. That makes this such an amazing deal. Obviously, it's more expensive than a regular stain, but it's well worth it in my opinion. Let's show you, bring you in here and show you how we take care of this. So we're using General Finish's Java gel stain. This is one of the best gel stains. I think they were the first manufacturer of gel stain out on the market, and simply the best. It's got the highest pigment content in it, and it covers incredibly well. So this one small pint will absolutely do our entire dresser. So when we first open it up, you may notice that it is kind of gloppy, kind of gloopy, kind of gloppy and thick. Ours isn't because we've already had it open, but if it is, you just want to give it a stir until you have a very, very nice and smooth finish. Now don't worry if it's gloppy, that's normal, and just give it a good finish or a stir here and everything will be great. Now we can start applying it to our dresser. Now when applying the gel stain, always remember to go with the grain of your wood. That is important. The manufacturer stresses this incredibly deeply, that you always go with the grain of the wood. And to get a great finish, that's what you need to do. You can see the coverage is really great here. And there are two methods to try to tone it out from this really dark first application. So as you see, we've got our full coverage here. We're going to do the ends. Now you can see how dark this is. And if you really want to tone it down, then you can do one of two things. You can wait for it to dry, probably for about 20 minutes, give or take, and take a dry cloth and rub off some of the stain. The longer you leave it sit there, the longer or the darker it's going to be, and the more of the stain that's going to adhere to the wood is going to be permanent. So if you think it's too dark now, take your cloth and wipe it off. You can also use the dry brush technique. I'm not going to do that because I like the way it is, but the dry brush technique basically is to take a dry brush. We've got a rag soaked with mineral spirits. Take a dry brush and we're going to run back and forth and kind of brush out and feather out the stain itself. Tap the brush on the mineral spirits, kind of get it to come off the brush a little bit, and then do the same dry brush technique, back and forth, back and forth. Tap it off, so on and so forth, until that removes the unwanted stain from your project. This for us is perfect. This matches what our interior furniture currently looks like, and it's the same color. Let me bring you in here a little bit closer, and I want to show you. So if you're worried that this ridging is here because of the brushing, don't, because this will smooth out. The gel stain will settle down and flatten out as it starts to dry. So don't worry about this ridging. This is normal, and it will dissipate once this starts to dry. So if I didn't already mention, as we're continuing to stain our dresser here, you're going to need to add a top coat to this. And you can add the top coat of your choice, whether it's a spar urethane or some other clear polyurethane. That is up to you. We're not going to do that in this video. This is simply about the gel staining process. Now, when you add that top coat, before you add that top coat, you're going to want to let this dry for at least 24 hours. And that is in 70-degree temperature with 70% humidity, so ideal conditions. So give it 48 hours. We're going to give it 48 hours out here in our workshop because we're not quite 70 degrees and 70% humidity. So that will give it perfect amount of drying time to be able to apply the proper top coat, whatever you choose. As you can see, this is a really simple process, a really great way to find some reclaimed furniture and refinish it yourself in just a few easy steps with just a few easy tools. If you have any questions, we'd appreciate you leaving them down in the comment section below. And as always, please be kind in your comments. Thank you so much. We want you to go over and visit us on countrylivingexperience.com and check out our tool store, our Amazon store. Also, every product that you see here is always linked in the description below, including this Java Gel Stain Finish, which if you can't find it at a local retailer, it is for sale on Amazon for a great price. So we'll have that down there in the description. Thank you once again. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Tuesday on the next video.